seeing more and more people come online. Great. So I think we might just kick off, and any of these welcome to join as we go through it. So thank you everyone for joining this morning for the CivTech Round 9 Challenges webinar. My name is Kate Ryan and I work for Enterprise Ireland based in our London office. I cover IT services, business services and tech solutions for enterprise for the UK market. We are delighted to be joined by the CivTech team here today, Heather Donald, Abby Robertson and Emma Daly. So thank you so much for joining us, who have given up their time to share the CivTech Round 9 challenges with our client base and to talk through any questions you may have on the process also. So thank you for joining us. This is a great opportunity for our clients who are interested in engaging with the Scottish public sector and who have innovative solutions to some of these challenges to work on some problems and engage in this initiative. So again, thank you for joining us. Just before I hand over to the CivTech team, I'd also like to introduce Laura Brocklebank, who's heading up our Manchester office. I don't know, Laura, if you want to come on for a second and say hello.
Hi everybody, delighted you can all join us. My name is Laura Brockbank. I'm heading up the Manchester office and the public sector for Enterprise Ireland in the UK. I'm delighted, and thanks to the CivTech team for working on this with us today.
Great, thanks Laura. So just before I hand it over to the CivTech team, I might just go through a few housekeeping points as well, just before we start the presentation. So first of all, you've all attended and we have enabled a Q&A functionality. So as the CivTech team are talking through their presentation, you can use that to ask any questions you might have, and we've left time at the end then to go through them. You can also leave your questions to the end, and you can use the raise hand functionality, and we can bring you in on mic to ask them more directly to the team. So whichever works best, but please do keep that active as well. If you do have any questions, we want to hear them for sure. The next point is just that we're recording this session, just so everybody is aware. So we'll be recording it for any of our clients who can't make it this morning, and we can share it afterwards as well. And we'll send around the recording to all the attendees today as well, so you have it on the slide deck. So I think that's probably it. We've scheduled an hour for this webinar, and we might not use the full hour. It depends on how many questions you have, but it's great to have you join us, and I'll hand it over now to Heather, Emma and Abby to take it from here.
Great, thank you, and thanks for inviting us along to the session today. So my name's Heather and I'm a senior manager in the CivTech team. Emma, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello everybody, I'm Emma Daly. I work in our comms and events function within the CivTech team. Thanks for joining us today.
And Abby?
Hi. Hello, it's lovely to meet you all. I'm Abby Robertson and I work alongside Emma Daly in the comms team in CivTech. Great to meet you all, thank you.
Great, I've got a few slides to share with you today. So Kate, if you wouldn't mind to just put them up, that'd be great. If we just go to the second slide.
Yeah, let me know if everybody can see that. All right, and if there's any issues, let me know.
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect. Okay, just move forward.
That's perfect. So hopefully everybody is already familiar with CivTech, but for those that aren't, CivTech was founded back in 2015, so we're about 8 years old. CivTech is an accelerator and it's run out of and part of the Scottish Government. So we are very lucky in that we use a lot of systems that are common in the private sector, but are still fairly rare within the public sector. So we're very innovative in what we do and our approach. So some of the things that we do are we run open challenges, which I'm here to tell you a bit more about today, and we use a lot of tech accelerator approaches. You can see on the screen there CivTech's mission. So it's about driving daring and innovation into the public sector by collaboratively solving challenges to make people's lives better. And whilst at the same time, we are committed to creating generations of sustainable high growth businesses. So how do we do that? So we work with organisations from right across Scotland's public sector in order to identify the problems that they need solving. So we work with charities, with Scottish Government, with arm's length bodies, basically anyone in the public sector we're happy to work with in order to find the best challenges and kind of those really difficult problems that they need our help with. And then what we do is we set those challenges up as innovation challenges, which have contract opportunities for businesses of any age or stage to develop innovative solutions to those challenges. And we're really proud of the fact that we work with businesses from right across Scotland, Ireland, the UK, and Europe. So we accept applications from anywhere and from businesses of any shape or size, or even individuals, sole traders. So long as you have a good solution that solves our challenges, we want to hear from you. So kind of in simple terms, we view CivTech as an opportunity to solve a problem whilst building a business. If you could just pop to the next slide, please, that'd be great. So this is the CivTech innovation flow, and it's really at the heart of what we do. So as Kate mentioned, we have launched CivTech 9, and that's what I'm going to spend a bit of time telling you about now. So CivTech 9 is now at the box 2 stage, where we are looking for innovative ideas for solutions. So we have 9 challenges that are available. So I encourage you to go on to either Public Contract Scotland or the CivTech website in order to find out more information about the specifics of those 9 challenges. I'm not able to go into detail around any of the challenges today, but they're a really, really interesting bunch of challenges we've got. They range from a wide range of topics. So we've got things on women's health, on Innovate for Nature, on cyber, and on digital, to name but a few. And what we're looking for is innovative solutions that can address these challenges. And I think it's, sorry, my team's popping up. Hopefully that's not annoying everyone else and only me. I think what we're really keen to stress is that submissions can either be completely new ideas or new technologies, or they can be adaptations of existing technologies. But what's really important is that those solutions address the problems that we've set out in the challenge statements. So the exploration stage is what we're hoping that successful applicants will get onto. So once we have received all of the applications, we will then hold exploration stage interviews, and they're going to be on the 27th of September. For solutions that make it onto the exploration stage, we normally identify around 3 different submissions to go into this phase. It's a paid phase, and sometimes for larger challenges, we might take more proposals through to exploration, and we've got some larger ones as part of CivTech 9. Exploration is 3 weeks long, and this is a really great opportunity for challenge teams to get to learn more about the challenge and also more about the sponsors and some key stakeholders that you potentially be working with. At the end of this exploration stage, teams then resubmit their proposals and basically pitch for a place on the Accelerator. So our exploration stage for CivTech 9 is going to run from the 23rd of October to the 10th of November. And then our pitch to get on the Accelerator, so the Accelerator interviews, will be on the 17th of November. So for teams selected onto the Accelerator stage, that will last 4 months. And that is the opportunity to work with your public sector challenge sponsor and develop your idea into a minimal viable product or a prototype. I think what is really great about CivTech is, alongside the opportunity to develop your MVP, we also have a very extensive workshop program covering a wide range of topics, which runs right throughout the Accelerator. And these give teams great support in developing their business propositions. So ultimately will help scale their solution across the public sector, as well as commercially. There's also a lot of support from the CivTech team itself during the Accelerator period. You have dedicated innovation manager from the CivTech team to support you on the process. Then at the end of the Accelerator, box 5, we have a demo day. This is Emma and Abby's bag. So hopefully I'll not say anything that is incorrect here, but basically this is a big event, in-person event, normally held in central Scotland, and it's where companies get the opportunity to pitch their minimal viable product to lots of different stakeholders from right across Scotland's public sector. It's also an opportunity to set out the vision for what the next stage of development could look like. And that's box 6, which is a pre-commercial agreement with the sponsors. So not all of our companies progress to the pre-commercial stage, but lots do. And this is really where there are larger contract opportunities available to continue to work with the challenge sponsor to get to the stage of commercialization. So effectively, it takes you from your MVP to commercially ready products that are ready to be implemented by the challenge sponsor, as well as available to scale commercially. And CivTech, we are kind of interested in sort of two things. We're interested in seeing solutions that solve the challenges for the challenge sponsor, and we're also very committed to seeing successful businesses that can grow, create jobs, and attract investment into Scotland. Next slide, please. So yeah, CivTech 9. Oh, sorry, I should have said the Accelerator is going to run from the 11th of December until the 29th of April 2024. CivTech 9 has launched, and we have, as I mentioned, nine new challenges, and we really think they're some of the most exciting and well-funded set of challenges we've ever had. So you can see we've got 7.8 million of potential contract opportunities available for teams, and as well as some of the kind of most tough problems we've ever faced. So if you go, I think I don't know if Abby and Emma can share the links, but if you are able to go on the CivTech website or the Public Contract Scotland website, you can register your interest around those challenges, and you have until the 22nd of August 2023 at midday to submit your application. We have a process if you have any questions on any of the specific 9 challenges. We have a mailbox via Public Contract Scotland, which closes for questions on the 15th of August. So if you check out the website and there isn't anything on there that answers your question, please do get in touch with Public Contract Scotland and they will answer your questions. Next slide, please. So yeah, this is just a little bit about some of our kind of key achievements to date. So, and it only includes up to CivTech 6. So we've got another couple of CivTechs that aren't reflected in these stats. But we've run 83 challenges so far. We've had nearly 500 applications and supported 93 accelerator teams. We work with businesses of any size. So as I said before, you can be a sole trader, individual, a startup SME, or a big, large company. We're willing to work with anybody so long as your solution meets the challenge. But to date, most of the people we work with are kind of pre-startups or very early stage SMEs. One of the things that CivTech is proud of is the number of jobs that have been created at these companies as a result of the CivTech program, and also bringing investment into Scotland through this, through the new jobs, which is great. Next slide, please. Yeah, so my final slide, this really is just a QR code, which hopefully works, which should link you direct to the CivTech website. If you have any general questions about the CivTech process, please get in touch with us through the CivTech mailbox, which I've shared there. And yeah, I'd just like to open the floor for questions if anyone has any.
Thanks, Heather. I'll just stop sharing here now and we can just check if any questions have come through so far.
Laura, would it also be possible, I think Abby and I are unable to share some links at the moment. We can only share to the panel. Would you be able to just change the permissions so that we can share some links as well with the people that are on the call, please?
Yeah, no problem.
So I'm just gonna have a look to see if we have any questions coming so far or any hands raised. Let me see.
Heather, I'll come in with a question if that's okay.
Sure.
Just to start things off, if that's all right. Do you have to be in Edinburgh to apply and go through the process?
No, definitely not. You can apply to be part of CivTech from anywhere. We take applications from all around the world and have successfully done that up to now. And we're actually really keen to grow our applications from different places as well, which is one of the reasons we're really keen to be here today, is to get more people from more places applying.
There's just a question here on the Q&A. So what happens to the IP of products developed as part of the CivTech Accelerator?
So the IP is owned by the companies that develop the solution. So CivTech's not seeking to own the IP. If the product proceeds to the pre-commercial stage, what normally happens is the challenge sponsors will get a royalty-free in perpetuity license to use the product, but the IP remains with the companies.
Okay, brilliant, brilliant. And just to mention, if anybody would like to come in with, you can use the raise hand functionality or type it in the Q&A, and we can enable your mic if you'd like to ask a question directly to the team when they're here. If there's anything around the process or the accelerator itself or anything that you're unsure about. Oh, there's another one that came in here through the chat. So many thanks. I'll just read it out here. So many thanks for the overview. May I ask how the funding is decided against each challenge and subsequently allocated to participants? Are there phases, milestones to be achieved within challenges, e.g. phase 1, proof of concept, phase 2, prototype build? And thank you. So let me know, Heather, if you need any of that repeated, because there's probably a few questions there.
So in terms of the funding, Abby and Emma keep me right on this. So we have a procurement cap for each individual challenge, which you will find on the CivTech website. So these procurement caps could be 350,000, 650,000, etc. And basically what that means is that is the maximum amount available for that challenge. And then we also have specific amounts that we pay for each stage. So for the exploration stage, which is the 3-week period, teams get £5,000 plus VAT. For the accelerator stage, which is the stage in which we seek for teams to develop their MVP, is it? I'm wondering if it's 25 or 30k at that stage. It's one of those. I don't know. 30.
I think, yeah.
30k. Okay,
Yeah.
30. Thank you for keeping me right. It's 30k, and these figures are plus VAT. And then for the pre-commercial stage, which is the stage after the accelerator, these are negotiated individually based on what is going to be developed, and also the challenge sponsor requirements. But the PCA stage needs to be within the procurement caps, all of which is available on the website. Did that fully answer the question?
So it's the question is asked by Paul. I don't know, Paul, if you want to also raise your hand if there's anything you'd like to come on to talk about more detail around that question. The second part was kind of also around the phases and the proof of concept and prototype build. But I think you covered part of that.
I think there was actually a bit around milestones. So
Yeah.
The accelerator stage has around 5 milestones. So which we have check gates in order to trigger the release of payment upon deliverables against the MVP, and then the PCA stage will have a detailed set of milestones that will be agreed as the product development plan is developed throughout the process. The PCA stage is something that the CivTech team are able to give a lot of support to once the teams are on the accelerator. So we will help you develop business proposals, product development plans, etc.
Brilliant, thanks. And yes is the answer to has question been answered in full. So thanks, Heather, for that. Just one more through here as well. The concept of the CivTech program is really interesting, but some of the challenges in this round are very niche, and I don't know if I have exactly the right solution for the round. Is there another round of challenges expected to be released soon? So kind of when is the next round?
Yeah, CivTech 10 is in the planning as we speak, so that will be released after CivTech 9. So that will be kind of, I would say, springtime next year. So yeah, I think it's great if you're interested in getting involved with CivTech. Just kind of keep an eye on our social media channels and you know, connect with us in the team, and you know, hopefully next time there might be a challenge that you feel like you've got a good solution for.
And just on that, Heather, so the best social media channel, is that the CivTech Scotland page on LinkedIn? Is that the kind of one that would be useful for people to follow?
Emma, are you able to come in on this?
Yes, we're in the background sending them over to Laura, who's kindly sharing everything.
But yeah, we're on most things, aren't we? LinkedIn, everything.
LinkedIn,
Yeah.
Okay.
But the social media names are changing a lot. So I was going to say Twitter, but that's changed, hasn't it? So I think it's called X now. But yeah, we're on all the channels.
It's now called X. So Laura, I'm just sharing those with you just now. So
I see, Laura, actually you have your hand up. Do you want to come in?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, actually, Kate, on that, I think you might have to repost into the chat. I'm not sure I have the functionality, but I think you're doing that. So that's brilliant. Yeah. So that is being done, guys, in the background. I just had a question, which always kind of helps to understand the kind of pathway from the very, you know, from getting involved in the challenge all the way through. And you don't need to share a specific company, but is there like a real life example you could give us of something or a company or a solution who was part of the challenge and then what the outcome was as well?
Emma, do you have a good example there?
Yeah, I've got a few. I mean, the thing is, I think that the person that said the challenges are quite niche. They often are. They can be very different. So we've got everything from one good example, which I suppose isn't core Scottish Government, is from CivTech 1, and it was a very simple solution. And within Scotland, we have a real problem with flooding. Because there's lots of hills and various things around. And that solution was a solution called River Track, and it was actually a sole trader, a guy who had built a piece of equipment that could sit at the rivers, and it would gauge when the river levels were swelling, which would then alert the local communities, and then would go on and alert you know, the emergency services, etc. And what was a very simple solution to a really big problem has gone on and has been very successful and has been rolled out across other areas in the UK and abroad. I think we've done a couple of challenges in recent years with charities, and in particular Victim Support Scotland and Citizens Advice Scotland, and a lot of that was off the back of the pandemic in terms of where people want to be and the kind of restrictions that were in place. So we have had everything from a company that developed a virtual reality solution to courtrooms to make it easier for people that are going into that situation to be familiar, with their surroundings. Their solution is now being rolled out across all of Scotland's courts, and they're actually in talks now with The Hague of doing work with them. So that was a really good example. And with Citizens Advice Scotland, I suppose that's a really good one as well. We did a lot of work, and that was around helplines and voice recognition, which was quite interesting with Scottish accents. But yeah, there's been some really good examples. We do have a portfolio page, which we can certainly share and have a look at that. And yeah, I would certainly also direct people. We have a link to our demo day websites, which has a lot of the companies doing their pitches, so you can hear about the different types of solutions that there are too. But yeah, does that answer your question, Laura?
Perfect. That's brilliant. Thanks a million, Emma. Fantastic, and great to see kind of how the solutions have come, as you mentioned, from a sole trader, but actually have rolled out, and even European wide or internationally as well. So fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. And I'm just going to see, so we are reposting these links in the chat. I'm not sure if the attendees can see them or not. They should be going to everyone, but if not, I'll also do up an email where we include them all to the attendees with the kind of slide deck and recording. So everybody will see them if not, if it's not caught up. And actually, I just get feedback now that they are coming up. So I hope everybody can see them. So is there any other, so is there one more question coming in there? Yes, there's another question here. An issue I have seen in Ireland is the commitment by public entity at the end of a challenge to a full procurement. How do you ensure that a public entity will commit to a procurement, hopefully of a developed solution at the end of the challenge?
I think that's, you're not supposed to say good question, but that is a good question. So we work very hard with our challenge sponsors to really embed them in the whole journey. So we work with them to scope the challenges initially, and they're very involved in the exploration stage. They're very involved in the accelerator stage. And then the pre-commercial stage, the challenge sponsors really take a lead on the development of the solutions during that phase. So they have a long established relationship with the companies who are developing the solutions, from kind of challenge definition right up to commercialization stage. And I think we begin conversations very early around their service readiness to adopt the solution once it's been developed. And one of the things that we spend a lot of time on as well is benefit articulation. So we ask the challenge sponsors to be very clear where they see both the qualitative and the quantitative benefits, and that's something that we track with them throughout the kind of life cycle of the solutions. So they're basically very well positioned to adopt the solutions commercially after the pre-commercial stage.
Great, thanks for that, Heather. Do we have any more questions? And just to mention, if you'd like to come on and ask the question directly, we'd love to hear from you. So feel free to put up your hand and we'll enable your mic, and then maybe they can come on and ask the question more directly. So I'd rather not go through the chat. I don't see any more at the moment in the chat. Oh, I see a hand. Great. Paul McGuire, I'm going to enable your mic here. I think, Paul, are you able to speak now? Are you muted? Don't think we can hear you yet, Paul. I think it says your mic might be muted, but that could be me not enabling it properly. So I'm not saying it's your fault. Can you hear us now, Paul? Or can you speak?
Paul, just type it in if you've got a, yeah.
So Paul, I think there's just, if you unmute the mic button at the bottom left hand of the screen, just see if that works.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Hello, good morning, and thank you very much indeed. Just to give, obviously, thank you to my colleagues from Enterprise Ireland. Just to let you know, I look after the public procurement, and we did have a program called SBIR in Ireland, which is the PCP equivalent. So hence my questions, because it's very interesting to see how you've developed yours. If I can just add on, and thank you for all your answers today. One of my questions was around the involvement of the procurement department. Sorry, my camera is also off. There you go. The procurement people, sometimes my experience is you have a champion within the public entity who's obviously very involved in the challenge and developing the solution, etc. And then when it proceeds to an actual procurement, it gets pushed over to the procurement department, maybe of the public entity, and they're maybe less familiar. We all know the old saying, nobody got fired for buying IBM. They run a mile sometimes from kind of innovation, etc. Is there anything you do to involve the procurement people in a public entity from the get-go?
Yes, I would say we work very closely with the procurement colleagues within Scottish Government. We host a number of procurement specific workshops with the challenge sponsor teams who explain, and much better than I can here, exactly the procurement processes that we're following at each stage. So yes, that's very ingrained into the program.
Okay, that's interesting to know. Thank you.
And I would also say on that as well, Paul, that in terms of working closely with procurement, in terms of the CivTech team we have within the digital directorate, rather within procurement directorate, within our own directorate, colleagues that we work with from the very beginning right through to the end. So they're almost assigned to us, if that makes sense, rather than just going into a kind of void of procurement where you're not quite sure. It's that innovation space that they're working in. So you know, that in itself is brilliant, because we're not changing how we procure things. It's just that it's an open challenge, but we're not changing procurement rules, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And as they say, sometimes procurement people are more familiar with what they know as opposed to new kind of systems like PCP, pre-commercial procurement, you know?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Great, thanks, Paul. Just check if there's any other hands going up. I don't think so. I don't see any more just now in the chat. So give it another minute, but I think that might be covered. I don't know, unless the team has any other FAQs that come in all the time that would be useful to share.
Yeah, we have a dedicated page on our website of all our normal FAQs. So it's probably best if I share that as well. It might be good just to share that page afterwards, even too, with everybody. We have on the build up to the challenges, and when the challenges are launched, we have Q&A sessions with each challenge, and it's a really good way for us to pick out the questions that you know, come in quite frequently. So I'll share that link, and also on the fact that we can't talk specifically about the challenges. I would just say that is, you know, really due to procurement. So it has to be fair and open procurement, which is the reason that we can't talk about the specific challenges. However, if anybody in the call is interested in the challenges and does have questions about each challenge, when they're on the page for each challenge, they can just go straight to Public Contract Scotland and ask those questions. They really just end up coming back to us, but it means that everybody who is interested in the challenge can see what question has been asked and what the answer is specific to that question.
Perfect. Great. Well, thank you all very much. I think there's no hands or any questions left in the chat. So I think we might round it up then. So thank you again to the CivTech team, Heather Donald, Emma Daly, Abby Robertson. Thank you so much for coming on and for sharing this program, information on this program with our client base. And as I said, we've recorded this session as well. We'll circulate it to all the attendees and to anyone who couldn't make it as well. So thank you again, and thanks to Laura also for joining us as a panelist too. Laura, thanks for being here, and for Paul Maguire for sharing his insights from Enterprise Ireland in Ireland. So thanks, Paul, for coming on with your experience too. So we'll leave it at that. And if anybody has any questions, they can contact us directly and we can forward them on to the team as well as needed. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.